So we are going to review our last week. So this is a slide from our last week. And I would like some volunteers to review all these slides and discuss what we learned from Mangala Sutta last week. Mingale Michelle.
So the one that says Winayo, so it was one of the Mingalas in the profession Mingala, and basically you were discussing like rules and regulations, like the law in like America, like legal rules, like you can't stab anyone, you can't steal, you can only drink until you're 21. You can't drink until you're 21. But according to the mat rules, you can't like drink alcohol ever. So we were just discussing the differences between the Dhamma rules and the legal rules in like America, and then the rules that were the same between both of them.
Very good, Mingale. Thank you very much. Tata Ricky.
So for the slide that says Vinaya, so 227 monastic rules of precepts are rules for monks and novices, and 5 precepts for earthlings are as lay people for us, and we have to follow them. And sometimes we follow 8 and 9.
Very good, thank you very much. Okay.
So yeah, can you hold on 1 second? I want to record.
Wayan, go ahead.
The middle one, Vinaya. Okay, then the bottom one. Yeah, bottom right. So there's 2 sentences: do whatever you want to others, and do whatever you ever want to others. So the second one is a bit more powerful because it gives you a choice between what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
Okay, so this slide is important. What Wayan just mentioned is correct, but not complete. And this is very important because a lot of us want to do the first one. Do whatever you want, right? We always want to say that, do whatever you want. I want to do whatever I want. That's my life. I'm free, right? But the problem is, chances are that if you do whatever you want, it might not be good for you, or it might not be good for the others, right? Instead, the second line, do what you ever want to others. What does it mean by that is what I ever want. So what do we want? What do you want? We want good stuff, right? We want to be happy. We want people to be nice to me, right? I want to be happy and dancing like Kira is doing all the time. So if I want that kind of life, I want to do that to the others. I cannot say, I want you to be nice to me, but I'll be mean to you. That's not how life is, right? Life is like a mirror, right? So if you want all the nice things in your life, you're going to be nice to the others. So that's what it means by do what you ever want to others. So this first one is not good, actually. The second one is the good ones, because we are all greedy people, selfish people, right? Selfish in a nice way, in the sense that I want others to love me. Do you want anyone to hate you? No. You want everybody to love you. Doesn't matter who that person is. Maybe your mom, your dad, your friend, your brother, sister, your aunt, your in-laws, anyone, right? But if you want others to love you, well, you need to love others too. So that's what it means by do what you ever want to others. I want others to give me attention when I'm feeling sad or I'm in trouble, right? You cry, you're sad, you're sick. Then you want your mom to cuddle you, hold you, right? Console you, give you warmth, give you food. Then you're gonna do the same thing to your mom, right? To your parents, to your friend. I want others not to be jealous of me if I am better than them. The same way, if they're better than you shouldn't be jealous, right? If you want to be better than them, you work harder, you try harder. But you don't need to be jealous of them negatively and talk bad about them. I want things around me to be well balanced. Then you're going to do the same thing to the others. So that's what Buddha wants us to practice on, right? Do what you ever want to others. Very good. Anybody want to try this slide? Vinyosa Susikito. Miss Sandra?
Vinaya equals to conduct rules and regulations. Sukato equals to keeping your mind. Equals to keeping your mind and to good deeds.
That's very good. Thank you, Tami. And you're very nice to your sister too. Even though your sister is not nice to you right now, you stay anchored and focus on the good stuff, read it, right? Good job. I think your sister loves you very much. All right, okay, so now that we reviewed this, and remember, we would like you to memorize Mangala Sutta, and a lot of you already memorized this. If you haven't memorized this, we want you to do that. Okay, we have discussed about Bahu Sisensa, Sipensha. Now we're discussing Winyosha and Susikito. Okay, and we're going to go a little bit more today on Winyosha and Susikito. This will also lead to others in this 38 Mangalas. Okay, so now that we reviewed our last week, you will be ready for the Kahoot. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to kahoot.it on your browser, or if you have an app, you will be logging into kahoot.it and you will be ready for the Kahoot quiz. So there are two types of laws that we discuss, right? There are two set of rules. One is the law of karma or the law of nature. It is always true, doesn't matter where you live, whether you're little one, old one, right? And there is the monarchy or the government rules or the rule of the kings or the rules of the rulers. Now, those are different, right? We discussed about, for example, the law of karma, the law of nature. You cannot do drugs, you cannot drink, whether you are 1 year old or 80-year-old, doesn't matter, right? For example, in this country, you're 21 and above, you can drink. Below 21, you cannot drink, right? But you're a Buddhist, you follow law of karma, You cannot drink, whether you're 21 or 18 or 12 or 80, doesn't matter, right? So that's why this is correct.
I have a question.
All right, so there are mainly, well, nowadays there are several branches of Buddhism, but in general, there are two main branches of Buddhism, okay? So the question is, how come some monks in China and Japan can drink alcohol? And how come some other country like Burma and Thailand and Sri Lanka, they cannot? So the reason is those Japan and China, those countries, they practice what we call Mahayana, okay, or what we call Northern Buddhism. The other country like Burma practice Theravada, okay? So, and they call it Hinayana. So those monks in those countries, because they don't follow strict monastic rules, so they try to adapt the way they want or the way they think is right. So they can do anything they want, just like layperson, except why they are practicing. Say, for example, I can call myself a monk in Japan if I just put a little collar of a monk robe here on my collar. You may have seen the Christian ministers, Christian monks do the same way. They are married, they have kids, they do business, they drink, they do anything they want. But when they go to church, when they say sermons, that's the only time that they follow the rules. Outside of the church, they don't have to follow those rules anymore. Now, those monks over there are the same way, okay? So for us, we do not call them as a Buddhist monks because the way that they interpret how they should practice Buddhism is very different than what Buddha preached and what we follow. Okay, Pat?
Okay.
All right, thank you. So definitely the law of karma said no lying, right? No stealing, no drinking, doesn't matter whatever the age is, okay? Paying taxes doesn't really have any weightage in the law of karma. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, all right, very good. Ricky, Sue, Cho and May, Kind and Hinted. Very good, good job. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, this is basically straightforward. So we Nyosa Susikito interpreted as to be well-trained in moral conduct. So it is pretty straightforward. There's no trick except that this is, maybe some of you mistakenly just click on to be well-trained and you stopped reading to the end. So maybe a few of you picked this because you just want to click. All right, so Ricky is still leading. Marinder, welcome to the board. Tami Tonyadi, welcome to the board. Wayan, welcome to the board. And Nolan, welcome to the board. All right, thank you. Okay, let's go to next. Okay, so what does Susikito mean in English? So in Pali, su, okay, meaning always meaning good, okay, or together, together in a good sense. Okay, so Susikito are good, right? So your mind is anchored to the good deeds, positive things only. Okay, so that's why this is correct. So a lot of you answered this one. So a contact can be negative or positive, right? And there is a negative contact. So that's why this is not correct, because it just tells you contact. It has to be good contact here, right? Your mind has to be focused and anchored to the good contact. That's why this is the right answer. Okay. Right. Okay. Heinz going up, and Tara and Sandra, welcome to the board. Ricky still leading. Very good. Okay, remember we discussed about little trick here. So do what you ever want to other, not whatever you want, right? What you ever want to other. So this is the correct statement. So in life, there are things that you want. Okay, then you're going to do the same way to the others. So that's why this is the right statement. Very good. Miranda going to the top. Good job. Tara and Sandra going up. Eric, welcome to the board. William coming back up. Okay, all right, very good. Let's go for the next one. Okay, there are 38
Yeah, that's
minglers,
what I
and those
figured out.
38 minglers can be subgrouped into different categories, right? So this one that we're learning, okay, Winayosa Susikitor fall into what to learn and what to do or how to do it. So this fall into this category. Okay, definitely not where to live. So Winayosa Susikitor does not really teach you where to live. It doesn't really teach you much about how do I take care of myself. It does tell you something about what to do to be moral, but this is grouped under this. So you just have to memorize this, okay? All right, Ricky going back up. Wen going up. Tonya D. Dylan Lee going, welcome to the board. Nolan, welcome back to the board. Good job. Okay, so this is the opposite of the other question, right? Do whatever you want to others. That is the wrong statement. You cannot do whatever you want because whatever you want might be negative to the others, right? So that's why this is the wrong statement. All right, Dylan's going up. The rest of the leaderboard is not changed. Very good. Let's go to the next one. Okay, what does Vinaya mean in English? Okay, that's the direct definition asking you what the meaning of this is. So Vinaya mean rules and regulation. Okay, Vinaya. Okay, Vinaya. We need meaning rules and regulation. Right. Okay, we're going to the leaderboard. Dylan's going up, Dara and Sandra's going up, and Josh, welcome to the board. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so we also talked about this slide, right? I want others to love others, to give me attention when I'm sad. Well, this is wrong, not to be, you shouldn't be jealous, right? So if someone else is better than them, okay, or if someone else is better than you shouldn't be jealous, okay? You want others to be balanced. Oh, this should be correct. Okay, so those of you who got this right, so you all are correct. So that's an error. So the only thing wrong will be this one. All right, Nolan's going all the way up, and Eric and Michelle. All right, okay. Let's go to the next one. Okay, the 5 precepts fall under the Dhamma rules. Okay, well, Quantum Novus follow Dhamma rules, so there's no such thing as Quantum Novus rules because we all follow the Dhamma rules. Now, 5 precepts are not legal rules. Some of those 5 precepts are legal rules, but not all, especially about alcohol and lying. Because if you just lying to your mom, you're not going to go to jail. The judge is not going to put you in jail just because you lied to your brother. But the law of karma or the Dhamma rules does not forgive you, right? That's why this is wrong. Well, Joe Biden is the president, so that will be the law of the king or legal law, right? The president law or the president rules, right? So the 5 precepts are definitely Dhamma rules. So a lot of you got it right. So those of you who answer Quantum Novus rules, I probably would love it, but there is no such thing. Thank you. Oh, leaderboard does not change. Good job, guys. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so the question asks, what does Vinaya contain? So Vinaya means rules. So it could be rules for the monks. It could be rules for the earthling as we are, right? So for the monks, there are 227 monastic rules. And for us, the basic one, we have at least 5, but it could be 8, 10. So you can do 227. You don't have to be a monk, but I want to follow like the monks do. Yeah, go for it. But you got to follow at least these 5. So these are the Vinaya according to the Buddhism, right? Yeah, do good deeds, but these are just in general. right? There are not 320 monastic rules, there are 227. Very good. Okay, Eric is now leading, very good. And the rest are unchanged, very good. Okay, let's go to the next one, the last one. Okay, so we'll explain to you that some of the legal rules or the rule of the king or the government overlap with the Dhamma rules of the law of nature, right? So here, the legal rules is question. So legally, you gotta pay tax. If you don't pay tax, you go to jail. Legally, you can't steal either. But drinking alcohol after 21 is accepted in any state, right? Except in certain very strict states, but a lot of the states all over the country, you're okay if you drink over 21. And lying, well, if, as I said, if you just lying to yourself or to your mom or to your friend, as long as it does not damage others, the law, the government law does not bother you at all, right? So that's why these two are correct answer. Very good. All right, Ricky, good job. Number 3. Josh, 2. Congratulations. Not only we refresh our memory, for those of you who have not memorized this yet, will be able to do so today. So let's recite this 3 times all together. If you already memorized this, close your eyes. If you haven't, look at it and read it 2 times and close your eyes for the 3rd time. Let's do it together. Bahu Shashin Sha Sipin Sha Winayo Sha Susikito Subasita Sha Yava Sha Etam Mangala Muddama. To have much learning, to be skilled in crafts, to be well trained in moral conduct, to have speech that is well spoken. This is the supreme auspiciousness. The counter Yahoo Jamin Duda Shiva O80 Tawanza Yin Weibo Datinli Lune Saya Jinwen Yago Kangwa Tenjana Lese Mangan Yin Choda E Suye Dabazi Edama Buddha Wara Gaba Minglare. All right, second time. Bahu Sisinsa Sepin Sha Winayo Sha Susi Kato Sita Sha Yawa Sha Edamangla Modaman. To have much learning, to be skilled in crafts, to be well trained in moral conduct, to have speech that is well spoken. This is the supreme auspiciousness. The counter Yahoo the Miagu Jami Duda Shivazi O80 Tawanza Yine Adam Weibo Datinli Lune Saya Jinwe Miagu Kangwa Tenjana Lesi Mangan Yinji Choda E Suye Dabazi Erama Buddha Wara Daba Minglare. The 3rd time, all of you close your eyes and try your best. Bahu Sesin Sa Sepin Sha Winayo Sha Susikito Subasita Sa Yava Sha Edamangla Modaman. To have much learning, to be skilled in crafts, to be well trained in moral conduct, to have speech that
A
is
speech that is well spoken. This is the supreme auspiciousness.
ဇာကောင်းတဲ့
တကောင်းတရားဟုသမျှကိုကြားမြင်သူကြားရှိပါစေ။အိုးအိမ်တီချောင်းဝမ်းစာပြည်နယ်အမွေဖို့ကြတင်လေလူနှင့်ဆိုင်အားကျင်ဝေ
ကိုကောင်းစွာသင်
ကောင်းစွာသင်ကြားနာလေစေမှန်ကန်ရင်ကျေးဇူးသာအေးဆိုရတတ်ပါစေအဲဒါမှဗုဒ္ဓဝါရကပ္ပမင်္ဂလာတွေ
Very good. Okay, so we're going to continue this Vinayosa Susikito a little bit deeper. Now that you understand Vinayo means the rules and regulation, right? And Su meaning good or together, Sikito, you anchor your mind to the good deeds, right? So that's what it means. So, but how do we do that? So that's what we're going to discuss today. How are we going to do it? Okay. So now we're learning Buddha's code of discipline, right? So Buddha way, as you have heard before, is the middle path, right? What is middle path? So middle path is avoiding two extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification. What does it mean by self-indulgence? Andrew, what's the meaning of self-indulgence?
I'm not sure.
Okay, Sophia Tom?
Basically, it's like pampering yourself or spoiling yourself too much, where it's like unhealthy.
Very good. Self-indulgence is you are very, very so much centered for yourself. Like me. Anything me, right? My day, my birthday, my day off. I'm the only daughter. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Burmese. I'm an American. It's for me. So you are so self-centered and you indulge yourself. Oh, it's time for me to eat, or time for me to sleep, time for me to watch a movie. And you become so much just thinking about yourself, and you don't do anything good for your life. Forget about the others. Not even good for your life and your samsara. Okay, that is the self-indulgence. You treat yourself too much. Okay, let me go buy some lipsticks. I'll go do some hairdressing. I'll buy the best, most expensive clothes. I'll eat at the most expensive restaurant. I'm going to sleep for 12 hours because I'm rich. That's the self-indulgence. Okay. Now, the other extreme is self-mortification. Yeti, what is mort?
Well, like I feel like I know the whole definition, but I don't know just more.
Okay, what is the other whole definition?
Isn't it like you like put yourself through a lot and like
Okay.
it's the opposite of self-indulgence.
Okay, opposite of self-indulgence, right?
Indulgence.
So mort, okay, basically mean killing or dying. Self-mortification is you kill yourself. So here, self-mortification is total opposite of self-indulgence. You torture yourself. Okay, I am going to walk 22 hours a day. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to eat. I'll just practice meditation 22 hours straight. I'm not going to eat at all. I'm not going to poop. I'm not going to pee. I'm not going to drink. Okay. So that is the other extreme of self-indulgence. Now, that's what a lot of people did at the time of Buddha, because everybody was looking to become liberated, enlightened. So a lot of people at that time thought that this is the way, right? So that's the other extreme. So a lot of people do self-indulgence, a lot of people do self-mortification, but the Buddhist path is the middle path. Now, we are talking about the code of discipline. Now, the code of discipline has to be in line with this, the middle part. Okay. Now, there are two types, right? One is for the laypersons like you and I, like us. Or the other is for the monks like Pum Pum, right? Now, this is the layperson code of discipline called Gihi Samishi Patipata. For the monk, Samana Samishi Patipata. So you don't have to memorize this. So there are two codes of discipline, one for the layperson like you and I, and the other for the monks and the novices. So definitely we're going to talk about this one, right? Gihi Samishi. So Gihi, the word Gihi comes from the Geha. Geha mean? What is Geha? Who know what Geha means?
I don't share in my computer.
Geha means the home, right? So Gehi is the homemakers, home dwellers, like you and I. So that's what we're going to talk about. So the layperson code of discipline, okay, most of these can be found in the Buddhist scripture called Thengalovara Sutta or Sigalovara Sutta. So when we were young in Burma, we had to learn what we call Loga Niti. Okay, very sadly, it is not being taught in Burma today. The me Tonyadi, do you guys learn Loga Niti at school today in Burma?
Not really. Not
No,
yet.
right?
I don't think so.
No, yeah. So, but when we were young, we had to read this book called Loga Niti. Okay, so the Loga Niti is not exactly preached by Buddha, but Loga Niti is a compilation of all the teachings and guidance of Buddha for the layperson like you and I, and the senior monks and the teacher compiled from different sutras and put it into one book called Loga Niti. Now, most of these Loga Niti come from this sutra called Thengalovara Sutta, or in English, Sigalovara Sutta. This is a discourse that Buddha gave to a young person called Sigala. Okay, we Burmese call it Tenga, okay, but in English, Sigala. Okay, Sigalovara Sutta. Now we're going to read this sutta, okay, because this is where we got this Vinayosha Shusikito, the rules and regulation for our life. So everybody see this book? So I will send you the link of this book. So this book is online and it is for free, called the Sigalovara in Pictures. Okay, a pictorial presentation of the advice to Sigala. Now this is kind of not exactly like what Buddha preached, but it is kind of make it simple for us and for you. So the actual preaching is, of course, in Pali and a little bit more advanced. So this is a little simplified for all of us. Okay, so I want you to download it and read it at home. And I want you to start at page number 14. You don't have to read up to page 13. Let's start with page number 14. Okay. So Tata, let me see. Jackson, could you volunteer for me to read this up here? Go ahead.
The Buddha was once staying near Rajagaha in the bamboo woods at the squirrels feeding ground, Kalandakaniwapa. Now at that time, Sigala, a son or a householder of Rajagaha, rising in the early morning, went forth to Rajagaha with wet hair and wet garments, clasped hands uplifted, worshipped the 6 quarters of the earth and sky, to the east, south, west, and north, to the Nadar and the Zenith. Early in the morning on that day, the Buddha entered Rajagaha seeking alms. He saw the young Sigalaka worshipping and asked Sigalaka, "Why do you rising early and leaving Rajagaha with wet hair and wet garments worship the 6 quarters including earth and sky?" "Sir, my father, when he was dying, said to me, 'Dear son, you should worship the quarters of the earth and sky.' So I, sir, honoring the advice of my father, revering and holding sacred what he said, rise in the early morning, leave Rajagaha and worship the 6 quarters."
Thank you, Pat. So at the time of Buddha, when Buddha was staying at a city called Rajagaha, okay? In English, it means the bamboo wood temple. And that bamboo, it is filled with bamboo trees and has a lot of squirrels. That's why it is called Rajagaha. Now, at that time, there is a young person named Sigala, a son of a householder of Rajagaha, because his father lived in this town. So early in the morning, he will wet his hair, he will wet her whole dress, and he goes to the center of the town in Rajagaha, and he raises his hand, and in 6 directions, okay, to the east, to the west, to the south, to the north. Here, zenith. Oh, here, Nadi. What does Nadi mean? Nadir. Meaning the down, right? To the bottom or to the downward direction. Zenith is, what is that zenith? To the very top, right? So to 4 direction, right? He prayed. Isn't that strange? Doesn't matter what the weather is. So in India, where Buddha was, it's the northern part of India. Extreme weather. If it is summer, it's really hot. What do you think during the winter like this will be? It will be really cold. Now this poor guy, doesn't matter what the weather is, every morning, what does he do? He will wet his hair, he will wet his whole dress, whole cloth, will go to the center of the town, all in the morning, he will bow down to the east, to the west, to the south, to the north, to downward, and to up. So one day Buddha came out to go around for alms, right? Then he see this young man bowing down and praying towards all 6 directions. So Buddha asks, "Young man, what are you doing? Why do you rise early in the morning with what hair and what garments, and you worship all these 6 quarters, including the earth and the sky?" He has no clue. "Sir, my father, when he was dying, said to me, 'Dear son, you should worship the quarters of the earth and the sky.' So I, sir, honoring the advice of my father, revering and holding sacred what he said, rise in the early morning, leave Rajagaha and worship the 6 quarters." Well, what a great son, right? Listen to his dad. I'm sure Ted and William will do that for me after I die. I hope. So, but the problem is, he does not know what his father exactly told him. Right? Do you think his father exactly told him like this? Or there probably is a meaning behind it? The problem is being behind it, right? If you just go to the center of the town and bound down to the east direction and west direction and north and south and down and up, can you get anything? No, you don't think so, right? But that's what he has been doing every day, every morning. That's what he does. So one day Buddha met him and asked him, hey, why do you do that? I don't know. My father asked me just before he died. He was dying. So that's a human nature, right? Say, for example, my father told me the same thing. So my father was dying. I went back home from here to Burma. So he was fighting for his last breath and having some hunger, and he told me to count rosary at least once a day. So I said yes, and I try my best to do that. Either I do it at home or I do it on my car when I'm driving. Okay, so a lot of people, especially in Asian country, will listen to their parents, the very last word of their parents, right? So that's why a lot of parents will ask, so, okay, take care of your sister, take care of your brother, or do this for me, do that for me, and the kids will do that. Now, here, the poor Sigala, his father told him something, he just do it, just because his father says so, without really understanding the meaning of it, right? Then, here comes Buddha. Okay, who wants to volunteer for next paragraph? Sarah, go ahead.
The Buddha said, but according to the religion of Arahants and
Aryans.
The Buddha's teachings, young householder, the 6 quarters should not be worshipped thus.
Okay, let's continue to me, if you can, the whole paragraph.
Sigala, the young householder asked, how then, sir, in the religion of Aryan, should the 6 quarters should be worshipped? It would be excellent, sir, if the Buddha would teach me the doctrine in accordance with which in the religion of Aryans, how the 6 quarters should be worshipped. Then the Buddha taught him how one should be worshipped in the 6 quarters.
Thank you, Domingali. So, poor Sigala, he didn't know what exactly it meant. So he thought that his father actually wanted him to go to the center of the town and worship the 6 direction. That's what he has been doing till he met Buddha. Buddha said, no, that's not what your father wanted you to do. That's not what we do, right? So he said, this is what your father wanted you to do. So this is what Buddha said. All right. Who want to volunteer for next paragraph? Tata Ricky, go ahead.
Inasmuch Sigalaka, young householder, as the Aryan disciple, put away the 4 vices in the conduct, inasmuch as he does no evil action from the 4 motives from 4 palaces, inasmuch as he does not pursue the 6 channels for dissipating wealth, he does avoiding these 14 evil things, is a coverer of the 6 quarters. He is practiced so as to conquer both worlds. He tastes success both in this world and in the next. After that, he is reborn to a happy destiny in heaven.
Very good. So this is what Buddha explained to this poor young man, Sigala. So as the Aryan disciple, put away the 4 vices in the conduct. So what do you think are the 4 vices? What are the vices, by the way? Just tell me the meaning, the not necessarily here. What is a vice? Tapi itu yang di.
I don't know. I just pressed it accidentally.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Umi.
I'm always having problem with this the button.
What is a vice? Thomas?
I think vice means like assistant or like, for example, vice president. When the president goes out to do something, the vice president can take over.
Okay. Here it is not that meaning, but it might be if you think it in a different way, but it's not quite right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me ask Nolan.
It's a bad habit.
Bad habit, okay. Jackson,
I think it means immoral.
immoral, okay. Sarah,
Evil action.
say it to me.
Evil action.
Okay, action, okay. So, so if you Google vice as a device, okay, vice is something you clamp down on. Okay, for vices in the conduct, okay, some kind of action that you do that will clamp down on your life. Okay, that Buddha compared to like 4 vices. Okay, so what do you think that might be? That definitely compared to the 4 directions here, but what do you think those are? Any guess? No? Okay. So these are basically the 4 precept, the first 4 precept. Okay. So the 4 vices in the conduct, and as much as he does no evil actions from the 4 motive, from 4 places, and as much as he does not pursue the 6 channels for dissipating wealth, he does avoid these 14 evil things. So it becomes total 14. Okay, it's a cover of the 6 quarters. Okay, so this is what the actual definition of covering or bowing down or praying to the 6 quarters. So it does not necessarily literally mean that you bow down. Okay, so in Buddhism and in philosophy, sometimes like some of the what pray or adore, worship doesn't necessarily mean you physically literally worship. Let's say, for example, you like Angelina Jolie so much that you follow her so much. Then sometimes you say, I worship Angelina Jolie, right? But do you actually put Angelina Jolie on in front of you, and do you bow down to her picture every day? No, you don't. But you just use the word, I worship her, right? You love a girl, you love a boy, and you say, I worship this boy, that girl. It doesn't mean that you bow down to that boy and girl. You just love that person so much that you follow exactly what that person lead you to. Okay. Now, that what his father told him, but apparently he did not understand, right? He was literally worshiping the directions, to the east, to the west, to the south, to the north, to the down, to the up. Okay. So through this sutta, we understand how we live in our daily life. And if you follow this, Buddha said, he has practiced so as to conquer both worlds. He tastes success both in this world and in the next after death. He is reborn to a happy destiny in heaven. Okay, what does it mean by heaven here? Is this the heaven that Christians believe in? No. What does it mean here?
Devas?
The Deva realm, right? You will be reborn in the higher realm, the Deva realm. Okay, all right. Who want to volunteer for next 2 paragraph? All right, Eric.
The
the destruction of life, the taking away of things that are not given. Sexual misconduct and lying are the four vices of conduct that he has given up.
Okay,
By
let's stop here. So here, Buddha explained the four vices of contact, meaning the destruction of life, meaning killing others, right? Taking away things that are not given, meaning stealing. Sexual misconduct is straightforward, and lying are the four vices of contact that he has given up. All right, very good. Let's continue next paragraph. By which?
I'm so sorry. Can you put me into TK's room?
For motives, for places he does no evil deed. Evil deeds are done from motives of partiality,
enmity,
stupidity, and fear, but inasmuch as the Aryan disciple is not led away by these motives, through them he does no evil deed.
Thank you, Da. So, by which four motives, four places he does no evil deed. Evil deeds are done from motives of partiality.
Yellow Kansia.
Enmity, stupidity, and fear. So relook at it. So motives of partiality. What is partiality, by the way? Being partial, what does it mean by that? If you're partial, meaning, what is partial? Partial meaning you're not full. You're not whole. Okay? You're one-sided. You side with someone. You're not neutral, or you don't see the whole big picture. So that's a partiality. Enmity.
Can I go to the bathroom for a moment?
So enmity, stupidity, and fear. So these four things, now again, represent the four directions. Okay, partiality, enmity, stupidity, and fear. But in as much as the Aryan disciple is not led away by these motives, through them he does no evil deed. So that's another meaning of the four directions. Okay. All right, let's go to next paragraph. Let's see, Tata Brian, you want to read this one?
Admittedly, then the Buddha taught the 6 channels for dissipating wealth. They are addiction to intoxicating liquors, frequenting the streets at unseemly hours, haunting of fairs, indulgence in gambling, association with evil companions, and the habit of idleness and the perils attached to them. Each one has 6 perils.
Okay. So the next, then Buddha explained about that 6 directions. Then Buddha taught the 6 channels for dissipating wealth. So the what dissipating means slowly losing. So everybody want to be wealthy, rich. Okay, everybody want to have a lot of money. Now, if you do these 6 things that Buddha is going to mention, you dissipate, meaning your wealth will slowly melt away, decrease, go down, disappear. There are addiction to intoxicating liquors, alcohol, beer, wine, drugs, anything, right? Frequenting the streets at unseemly hours, meaning during the nighttime, you're not supposed to go to bad part of the town. You do that, you'll be in trouble, you'll get shot, you'll be mugged, right? So that frequent in the streets of at and similarly hours. Haunting affairs, indulgence in gambling, association with evil companions, and habit of idleness. So the indulgence in gambling, indulgence in games. So these are the one. That associated with evil companions, the habit of idleness, meaning laziness, and the perils, meaning dangers attached to them. Each one has 6 perils. So these, each and every one of has another 6. Okay, all right. Tami Nolan, can you read these 2 paragraphs, please?
Then the Buddha taught about 4 kinds of false friends and 4 kinds of true-hearted friends and their qualities. Then the Buddha explained how to use the amassed wealth. Wealth must be divided into 4 parts. 1 portion should be spent for daily expenses. 2 parts to be invested to conduct business, and the 4th part should be deposited for future use.
Thank you, Tami. So then the Buddha taught about 4 kinds of false friends, and that's a typo. There's no such English word, AQD, and kinds of true-hearted friends and their qualities. Now, in this sutta, Buddha also taught him about what are the 4 kinds of false friends, what are the 4 kinds of true friends, and the qualities that those friends need to have. Then the Buddha explained how to use the amassed wealth. Now you make money. Okay, you go to school, you got a job, or you run your own business, you are making a lot of money. What do you do with that money? What do you do with that wealth? Right? Now, as a Buddhist, this is what Buddha instructed to do with your money. Wealth must be divided into 4 parts. Let's say you got $100. Okay, you gotta put it into 25, 25, 25, 25, right? 4 parts. 1 portion should be spent for daily expenses. Now, out of $100, the $25, you use it for your daily expense, right? Eating, your gas, whatever you do for your daily expense. Then the other 2 parts to be invested to conduct business. Now you reinvest that $50 for what? To grow. Okay, so a lot of people think that Buddhism does not want you to do business. A lot of people think that Buddhism wants you to just meditate and do nothing. That's absolutely wrong. That's not at all what Buddha said. Right here, Buddha clearly said in this sutta, if you make money, you're going to put it into 4 equal pieces. 1 piece, you use it for your daily life. 2 piece, you actually invest in to conduct business, meaning you reinvest in your business. Then the 4th part should be deposited for future use. Now, the 4th part, you save it for the future. Okay, now this for the future could be for tomorrow, for when you are older, for your next life, right? So what do you do? What do you do for your next life? Thomas, for that 1 part here, Buddha said deposit for the future use. How do you deposit for the money? Do you burn money when you die that you can use in your next life?
You donate money.
Very good. Can you burn money like Chinese are doing?
If you burn money, that's basically just wasting money.
Thank you, Da. Thank you. Yeah, Tata Fongkan, thank you. Yeah, you can really burn money. The Chinese burn the fake money. They think that that will take that money, the fake money, to the next life. Now, that's not the case, right? So here.
And, Tia?
Yes, Da.
don't forget Egyptians. Egyptians for the pharaohs, they give ever so expensive stuff just cause, but the stuff might not go with them.
Very good. Not only the Egyptian, right? So if you actually look at the Chinese culture, you have learned in school, or you have actually seen that in the movie of Terracotta. Some of the kings, they took the whole army with them when they died. They prepare for their death for years ahead. In fact, some of the Chinese and Egyptian kings, they prepare for their death the moment that they become king. And when they die, they actually kill the whole army, all the queens and the other princes, and to die with them. Okay, so because they think that they can take them to their next life for future use. Well, that's not the case here. Future use meaning it could be you save your money in the bank, okay, part of it, and some part of it you donate it so that you can take it to your future life. So that's the guideline from Buddha of what to do with the money that you make, right? So for example, if you make $100, you save $25 for your daily use. It could be your food, your car, your parents, your mom, your dad, whatever. Then $50, you reinvest it. Whether you're in your career that you're doing now, or you invested in different things like buying houses, stock market, whatever. Yeah. So whatever you want, right? And the other $25, you actually put it for the future use. The future use, maybe you just save it in the bank, or you donate it, or maybe partly save it, partly donate it. So finally, oh, okay. So let's read. Tata Pongkan, you want to read this?
Finally, Buddha
taught
and
Singalaka,
the young house, the young house holding the six question was to be hosted by
performing
in the
reciprocal
that donate
duties
in Burma on the
parents of the East.
Parents are the East, teacher are so wife, and children are the West friend or
friends and
community.
Are the North? As the North?
No,
servants?
No, the North person work people are not nearly
religious teachers.
The teacher said it.
Very good. So here Buddha explained about the 6 directions that the little young Sangala was supposed to bow down to, right? So finally, Buddha taught Sikalaka, the young householder, the 6 quarters to be honored by performing the reciprocal duties incumbent on them. Now, here it's important, okay? The word reciprocal, what is reciprocal? What does it mean by reciprocal? What does it mean by reciprocal, Wayne?
Like, let's say you're doing multiple division, and let's say you have 1 divided by 3 divided by 5 divided by 1, then you switch the 1 and the 5.
Okay, so reciprocal meaning the
other side of the top.
Okay, so you're giving it back in return, right? That's a reciprocal or mutual. So if a friend gives you love, you love that friend back, that's a reciprocal, right? I give you $1, and when I need that $1 back later in my life, you give it back to me. That's a reciprocal. So reciprocal duties incumbent on them. Parents are the East. So it doesn't mean that you're going to bound to the East. Okay. It means that you got to pay respect to your parents. So parents represent the direction of the East. The teachers are the South. Okay, you don't bow down to the southward direction. You actually pay respect to the teachers. Wife and children are the West. Right? So you send your wife and your children to United States because it's the West direction, right? That's what the parents are doing in Burma? No. Okay, so it just represents wife and the children as the West direction, the friends and companions of the North, servants and work people as the Nadil or the downward direction, religious teachers as the Zenith. That's the Buddha definition of the 6 directions. Okay.
Singalaka householder on his
deathbed
said to his son, "My dear son, after my dad get up early in the morning and with wet hair and wet garments, you should wash the east, south, west, north, nether, and zenith. You should do this without fail. This is my last advice."
Very good to me. Thank you. So here's a father. Okay, he's on deathbed, meaning he's dying. Okay, told his son Sikalaka that every morning with wet hair and wet garments, you should worship the east, south, west, north, nadi, and zenith. You should do this without fail. This is my last advice. And he goes, right? So his father died. All right, so here, look at the picture. So every morning, this is what he is doing. Miss Stella, could you read this for me, please?
Singalaka young householder rising early with wet hair, the wet garments and clasped hands uplifted paid worship to east, south, north, nether, and the zenith.
Yeah, so he is following whatever his father told him to do every morning. That's what he does. Okay. Let's see. I want to read. Michelle, you want to read this for me, please?
Early in the morning, the Buddha entered Rajagaha seeking alms. Then he saw the young Sigalaka worshipping and asked him the reason for doing that. Young Sigalaka replied that his dead father had asked him to do so. The Buddha then taught him that in the Buddha's teaching, too, there is worship of 6 quarters.
Okay, thank you, me. So Buddha met him and asked him, "Hey, what are you doing?" So he said, "Well, this is what my father asked me to do before he died. That's why I'm doing that every day." So Buddha said, "No, here is the way." Right? Okay. Tata Kevin, could you read this for me, please?
There are 6 perils from addiction to intoxicants: actual loss of wealth, loss of good character, increase of quarrels, indecent exposure, susceptibility,
Susceptibility.
susceptibility to disease, impaired intelligence.
Very good. Thank you, Beth. So a lot of you may wonder, well, what's the big deal about drinking alcohol or beer or wine or liquor? On the other hand, especially those of you who live in this country, you see a lot of television ads, right? They advertise about drinking red wine, good for your heart, you live longer, right? Especially where I used to live in a little wine town. They grow a lot of grapes and they have a lot of wineries around us. And there are days that you just go out and you can smell the wine and smell good, right? And when you see those television ads telling you that it is good for your heart and you live longer, you might wonder, what's the big deal about it, right? So here in this sutta, Buddha clearly explained what are the possible perils and dangers or side effects or the negative effects of drinking or using any intoxicant. If you become addicted to drugs, alcohol, you lost your wealth, your money go down, loss of good character. Why would this happen? Why would you lose your character and why would you lose wealth? One, just because you drink. Jackson.
Because you spent too much money?
Well, alcohol doesn't cost that much. Beer is really cheap. In fact, sometimes beer is cheaper than water. What do you think? Why do you think you won't be losing wealth? Because you're drinking alcohol or addicted to drugs? Sarah.
Maybe you can't think straight?
Okay, very good. Michelle?
You might gamble a lot and just like bargain that's like really risky.
Yes, very good. Dennis?
Your mind goes crazy.
Okay, very good. Sophia Tom?
You might not have good judgment and end up doing things that like you'll regret in the future.
Very good. Sophia Wen?
You might like because of the alcohol that you might make like bad decisions like fire like quitting your job or like something like that's very important to you.
Thank you to me. Very good. Kevin?
You might have to pay fines.
You might have to pay fines. Very good. So definitely, yeah, even though the television ads tell you, oh, this is nothing. A lot of people think that beer is not alcohol. A lot of people think that wine is not alcohol. Believe me, when you get a little older, your friends will tell you exactly what I'm telling you today. Oh man, this is not liquor. I know you're a Buddhist. It's okay. This is not alcohol. It's just a little wine. Just drink. Oh, my birthday, man. You're my best friend. Just drink a little beer. They would definitely tell you that. Okay. So, but the moment that you drink, your mind becomes clouded. You are not going to make a good judgment and you will become stupid at that moment. Okay. I'm not saying you're stupid. What I'm saying is that if you drink alcohol and you can't think right, if you can't think right, you're becoming stupid and you're going to do stupid stuff. Right? Then because of the consequences of doing that stupid stuff, you will end up in you could end up in jail. You will get into trouble. Right? Now, once you become intoxicated, you can't make good judgment. The chances of that you will fight, right? Increase of quarrels. So what quarrels mean? Fighting, right? Indecent exposure. What does it mean by this? What is indecent exposure? Jackson.
Hanging out with like the wrong people.
Hanging out with wrong people? Nah, very good, but not quite there. To me, Sandra?
I'm not that sure.
You're not that sure. Okay. Dylan Lee, what is the indecent exposure?
I think it means to associate with false.
Okay, not exactly. Okay, let me explain to you. Exposure means you expose yourself. What does it mean by expose yourself? Okay, Brian, you want to say it? Go ahead.
By doing weird stuff.
By doing weird stuff. What does it mean by that? By doing weird. What is the definition of weird here?
Bad things. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, I understand. Michelle?
I think it means like being a stripper or something like that.
Cool, good job. Right, so maybe some of you might not know what a stripper is, okay? So stripper is you actually take up your clothes and show your private part, right? So that's what is indecent exposure, right? Right now, I'm well clothed and stuff. Let's say I drink, I become drunk. Then my judgment is gone. So there are chances that I will be ripping off my clothes and I become naked. That is the indecent exposure. Now, if I ever do that, what would you do? You say, oh my goodness, what kind of teacher is here? And you will never come back to this class ever, right? So that is the indecent exposure. Now, I know I'm telling you a joke, but it does happen to a lot of people. It happened to a lot of my friends, right? They're doctors. We were in medical school, right? Back home in medical school, a lot of people gamble and drink during the weekends. So I had a lot of friends. They're nice friends. They're smart. They're good. Some of those friends are smarter than me. But when they drink, gosh, they become animals. They say nasty words. They do this indecent exposure, right? Then next morning, they don't recollect anything. And I tell them, look, this is what happened to you. This is what you did. And they said, I did that? Yeah. And a lot of time, they don't believe. So when we get, when medical school was started, we didn't have phones. Now, when we get to little final years, so some of us has some phones, some of us had some cameras. So then I took a picture of them, and then I showed to them, look, this is what you wore last night. Really? I was like that? Oh my goodness. So whenever you are intoxicated, doesn't matter what you do. You could be drinking alcohol or beer or wine or doing drugs, anything. Then you become animal. And I really mean it, because the difference between animals and us is animals, they don't wear clothes, right? They go naked. Nothing's wrong with that. But we don't do it as human beings, right? But you become animal when you're drunk because you don't have any judgment, right? Thomas, you wanna tell us your own experience?
Actually, I wouldn't like. What does it really feel like? It's like when you drink it. I don't see why people would want to drink it. And also, you said your friends are smarter than you. If they're smarter than you, then what's the point of drinking alcohol if they're smarter than you?
So here, very good question. So let me explain to you. So the very first drink, okay, usually is nevertheless drink. Now, why people drink? The first one is a lot of time it's because of peer pressure. Like a friend of yours telling you, you're my best friend, man, today's my birthday. Just take a little sip for me. Then you said no. Then he will say, Dan, you don't love me, man. You're not my friend. Get out of here. I'm not going to invite you to my birthday next time. Then you feel sad. Say, you know what? It's nothing. I'll just take a sip. Now that's how it starts. Whether it's alcohol or beer or wine or cigarette, doesn't matter. Okay. Now, some people do it for the style because they think that only when they drink, they can socialize. That's also horribly wrong. Okay. So if you don't want to get addicted, it takes just one. Okay. So I had a friend who actually had very strong self-control. So he became addicted to heroin. So one day I met him and he was almost homeless. He got out of medical school. Then I asked him, what happened? So he used to be very well disciplined and very strong self-control. Then he said, well, I was overconfident. And there are a few friends of his from where he used to live. He hung out with some bad guys. So they challenged him. So he used to be very, very proud of himself. I can control myself. I can stop anything. I can say no. So his bad friends told him, are you sure? If you just do this drug, we bet with you, you will never be able to stop. He said, no, I can do it. So he shot a dose of heroin into his vein. Sure enough, he couldn't resist. He fails and he became drug addict and he became dropped out of medical school. He actually died about 4 years ago. So a lot of people, even though you think that, oh, why do they do that? Those people started just like you and I. Okay, when they were younger, they're thinking, why do people drink alcohol? Why do people do drugs? And 99% of people, they started just one, just because of the peer pressure, your friends tell you to do so, or just because you're so sad and depressed and say, you know what? I have seen that in the movie. If you're mad, you're depressed, you're sad, you drink alcohol, you drink wine, then you start drinking. Now, every time, next time you're sad, you feel depressed, you will think about drinking. Okay, so the moral of the story here is never, ever touch one. Okay, one time is enough. So don't even think about it, right? So that's what the intoxication will do to your mind. Will make you to be animal, exposing your private parts in the public. That's horrible, right? You could end up in jail and you will never be able to show your face and your friends. Because these days, even worse, everybody will be taking a picture of you naked, right? Posting on your Instagram and YouTube, and next few seconds, all your friends will know you that you're naked, right? So that's horrible. Now, susceptibility to disease, every alcoholic, every drug addict, they can have so many different diseases, right? What kind of diseases do you get from drinking alcohol or doing drugs? Jackson?
Cancer.
Cancer. Okay, what else? When?
I was gonna say lung cancer.
Lung cancer from smoking? Yes. What else? Kathleen?
Heart,
Say it again, me?
heart disease.
Okay, very good. Andrew?
Asthma.
Asthma? Okay, good. Michelle?
Liver cancer from alcohol and gum cancer from chewing tobacco.
Very good. Liver cancer from alcohol, gum cancer from chewing tobacco. Good. Ted? When?
Hepatitis B or C.
Hepatitis B or C from drugs, needle use. Good. Let me, Sandra.
I'm not sure, but is it liver cancer?
Liver cancer, definitely from alcohol drinking. Yes, definitely. Okay, Eric?
Memory loss.
Memory loss? Yeah, definitely. Your brain will get shrunk because you're drinking too much alcohol, doing drugs. Yeah, Sophia Tom?
Obesity.
Obesity? Yeah. So a lot of things can happen, right? So then the last one is impaired intelligence. Definitely, we just talked about that, right? You are not making a good judgment. So forget about being intelligent, you become animal. You can't think right. No matter how smart you are, how educated you are, if you're drunk, you forget everything, right? So you can even perform what an animal can do. So I'm sure some of you must have watched in the movie. So if you think you're drunk and a police stop your car and ask you to come outside, and what kind of test do they ask you to do? Yeti.
Well, one of them is you have to walk a straight line. Number two, you have to do like a breathalyzer test or something.
Right. So they ask you to walk a straight line. So I'm sure all of you can walk straight line right now, right? But if you're drunk, can you do it? No, you're drunk. So you're all over the place. You cannot walk straight, right? An animal can do it, but if you're drunk, you're worse than an animal because your brain is now controlled by that alcohol or drug. Normally, your brain controls your movement, your judgment, your thinking process. But now that is gone because the alcohol is controlling your brain now. Then you can even do the basic function of walking a straight line. Forget about doing your math and English and language art and this and that. So that's why when you are under the influence of any alcohol or any drug, you do all this stupid basic instinct stuff. You become like animal, you become naked, you talk gibberish, you talk like a baby, and you forget all the things that you learn, right? That's why a lot of people, when they become drunk, they start talking in their own language. So several years back, during Christmas, I had a coworker, he was drinking, right? So we're sitting, then he kept on drinking and drinking. Then once he became really drunk, he started talking in his language. I tell him, man, I don't understand what you're talking about. And he looked at me and he understood me, but he can't think how to explain that to me in English. And he just kept on saying in his own language. And I know nothing about his language and I couldn't help him. Then he was going to draw something to communicate with me and he couldn't draw either. He was so drunk. So the alcohol and drugs and everything will make you to become an animal, okay? So that's what Buddha was teaching Sinhala about, these 6 directions. Now Buddha told him that there are 6 perils related to those, right? So this is just one of those. All right, so I'm going to stop here. It's 10 minutes over.